medical cannabis product has to be grown and processed here in the Commonwealth. So we need to start building up that supply chain first before we move on ultimately to licensing the dispensaries where folks will be able to purchase their medical cannabis. It's important, again, that these businesses are ultimately the first part of that supply chain. We want to get medical cannabis to the folks at the soonest possible date that they can get it. Again, the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program is about making sure that folks that have cancer and PTSD and other serious medical conditions ultimately have safe, affordable access to medical cannabis. It's one of the reasons why we certainly appreciate the governor's hard work and our partners in the legislature that ultimately got House Bill 829 passed and signed and let us issue licenses now rather than sometime in 2025. We know those folks need access to their medications sooner rather than later.
All right, so we have been signaled that we are ready to start the second drawing, which is for Cultivator Tier 1. So the draw has started. And again, Sam, tell us a little bit about Cultivator Tier 1.
I think the numbers have come down. Possible to get the numbers posted back up? We'll wait momentarily. Now, Terry, while we wait for the draw team, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Kentucky Lottery Corporation, what it is, what it does, and how it operates to help fund education here in the Commonwealth.
Yes. So as I said, the Kentucky Lottery has been around for 35 years. We have in place our mission to fuel imagination and fund education. We fund 7 scholarships through the work that our players do when they buy the different lottery games. This past fiscal year, we were able to transfer more than $4 million to state government, and I believe that the numbers are coming up for the Cultivator Tier 1.
And we should have those numbers momentarily. I will, and here they are. So for Cultivator Tier 1, the numbers are 141, 125, 164, 135, 112, 38, 51, 123, 49, and 5. And I'll read those again from the top: 141, 125, 164, 135, 112, 38, 51, 123, 49, and 5.
And as you will see in the draw studio now, they have printed out those results. Each of our draw team is signing those results, and they will put those in a folder and set them off to the side. And so as we wait for the next drawing, Sam, can you tell us a little bit about the categories for the next round of lottery drawings coming up in the next few weeks?
Yeah, Terry. So as we mentioned today, we're doing drawings for cultivators tiers 1, 2, and 3, and processors. And we've already had the drawings for cultivator tier 1 and processor, and we're waiting for cultivators tiers 2 and 3. In the coming days, we will announce when the date for dispensary lotteries will be held. We have 11 dispensary licensing regions where we will have 48 medical cannabis dispensaries located throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It's important to note that we created these licensing regions based on a drive time analysis with the good folks at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, so that folks with these serious qualifying conditions have access points throughout the state and the shortest possible drive time to a dispensary nearest them. We also listen to the local community leaders throughout the state And we wanted to make sure that this program was safe and secure with access points. So to do that, we made sure that in each licensing region, there'll be 4 dispensary licenses, with the exception of the region containing Jefferson County and the region containing Fayette. Each of those counties will have 2 each. But we wanted to make sure that ultimately this was secure. So no more than 1 dispensary will be permitted in the remainder of the counties throughout the state.
And so we are ready for the next draw, which is for Cultivator Tier 2. And as we wait for those results, I will let you talk a little bit about Cultivator Tier 2.
Sure, Terry. So Cultivator Tier 2 is a little bit larger than a Cultivator Tier 1. Tier 1 is 2,500 square feet of indoor growing space. The key piece to our program is that all the medical cannabis in Kentucky has to be grown indoors. Cultivator Tier 2s are about 10,000 square feet of indoor growing space, so a little bit larger facilities getting up to that more industrial size. And it looks like the 4 results have popped up for the 4 licenses allocated for Cultivator Tier 2, and those numbers are 007, 135, 54, and 164. And I'll say that again: 7, 135, 54, and 164.
So as you will see, our draw team, they're signing off on those results. They will put them in a folder, set them off to the side, and we will move into shortly our next drawing. But before that, let's just talk a little bit, Sam, about the importance of the medical cannabis program in Kentucky.
Sure, Terry. So the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program in Kentucky is administered by the Office of Medical Cannabis within the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. As a result of the passage of Senate Bill 47, which the governor signed into law in 2023, that law legalizes medical cannabis for a small group of folks that have a number of very serious conditions. Cancer, PTSD, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, chronic pain, chronic nausea, very serious conditions. And we want to make sure that Team Kentucky is focused on healthcare and helping our neighbors. And certainly folks that have those serious conditions deserve our help. And so our mission is to ensure that those folks have safe, affordable access to medical cannabis. And we really focus on the access piece. We want to make sure that these folks have access points throughout the state. We want to make sure that they have the safest possible medical products and the best possible care available. So we really are emphasizing the healthcare aspect of this program. And we also want to follow not just the letter of the law, but the intent of the law as well. We want to make sure that folks that have these conditions have access, but also make sure that folks that aren't supposed to have it do not have access.
Great. So we are ready for our last drawing, which is for Cultivator Tier 3. And I will let Sam read the numbers because they just popped up on the screen.
Well, the numbers, the results on the screen are 91 and 45. And I'll say it again, 91 and 45 are the results for Cultivator Tier 3. That's our largest cultivation tier. That's about 25,000 square feet of indoor growing space. That's a little bit more than half an acre for the folks that are tuned in and watching. Again, more industrial size and scope, and certainly going to make significant economic development and workforce development impact on whatever community they locate in.
And so now that this is the last of the 4 drawings, our draw team will begin to close out the draw process. This includes our Vice President of Security Operations, who is remained in the studio. He is being handed the results right now. He will walk the results of the 4 results of the draws today down to the General Counsel of the Health and Family Services Cabinet, and he will sign a chain of custody form. And this completes the Kentucky Lottery's portion of the October 8th medical cannabis drawing for cultivators and processors. And I'll turn it back over to Sam.
Thanks, Terry. So as you mentioned, Greg Baird, the Vice President of Security Operations for the Lottery Corp, has come back, as folks can see on their screen, and he has provided the de-identified lottery results to our team here in the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, Office of Legal Counsel. The Deputy General Counsel has joined us today, Blake Vogt, and is assisting us with re-identifying those results that were pulled just a few moments ago. So very shortly, we'll find out which businesses are associated with which numbers, and ultimately be able to provide those results to the governor to announce for all the folks watching at home. Again, this entire process has a chain of custody, so we're recording the transfer as it transfers from one person to the next to ensure security throughout this entire process. Again, we wanted to make sure that this process was fair for everybody who applied, but ultimately transparency was at the core of the way we put this program together. And I couldn't thank the Kentucky Lottery Corporation enough for your all's partnership in this process. While we wait for our team to re-identify the results files, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the exciting things that are going to be happening with the Office of Medical Cannabis and with medical cannabis generally in the Commonwealth over the course of the next several weeks and on into the new year. As many folks know, there's a big election coming up in about a week. And 106 jurisdictions in the Commonwealth of Kentucky will be voting on medical cannabis, whether to allow these businesses to operate within their jurisdictions. So 53 counties and 53 cities will be voting on this. In some cases, folks will be voting both at the county level and the city level, so they'll be able to vote for it for either one. It's important to note that this relates to the business operations alone. It does not have any impact on the ultimate card holders and whether they can access medical cannabis and use their medical cannabis at their home if they're in one of these jurisdictions that has opted out or ultimately decides to vote to opt out at the ballot. So really important elections coming up on that, and we'll certainly be tracking in our office. If folks want to see where this is going to be on the ballot, we have some great interactive maps on our website, kymedcan.ky.gov. Highly recommend you go there and see which counties are in, which counties are out, which counties are voting on this. Very exciting stuff. Also, we've begun a significant amount of outreach for practitioners. So to get a medical cannabis card in the Commonwealth, you'll need to get a written certification from an authorized medical cannabis practitioner. We've begun a series of webinars with practitioners from around the state, so doctors and APRNs. We've had over 1,100 sign up and several hundred have already attended. And currently we have over 100 authorized and registered practitioners already here in Kentucky. It's a great number. We certainly expect that to grow over the course of the next several weeks, months, and years as we move forward. And ultimately, folks will begin to see those practitioners here in the next several weeks and months, get their written certification, which is good for 60 days. And then on or after January 1st of 2025, they will be able to apply for a medical cannabis card through the Office of Medical Cannabis portal. Again, that's kymedcan.ky.gov. That's the place to go for that. And we're certainly excited. We think that there's going to be a significant amount of interest, as with the businesses. We've seen a significant amount of traffic in terms of the folks who have reached out to us about how they can sign up. And we've got a lot of really great resources on our website. For practitioners, we have a guide that will walk practitioners through the process so that they can go ahead and become authorized and registered practitioners in Kentucky. We also have a guide and important docs for patients that will walk them through the process step by step, how they can become a medical cannabis card holder in Kentucky, and how those ultimately the rules apply to them. So how they can transport it, what it's going to look like, what their medical cannabis card is going to look like, and how much it's ultimately going to cost. So some really, really important pieces of information, again, available at our website. And if people have questions, we certainly encourage them to reach out again, through our Contact Us portal, we try to answer every single question that we get, and certainly we've received thousands. So again, a lot of really exciting stuff coming over the course of the next several weeks. And it looks like our team is very close to reaching the end of re-identifying the results, and we should have results ready to announce very shortly. I did want to ask Terry, I know many people have asked us, certainly when we set up a lottery process and announced that the Lottery Corporation was going to be involved, what happened with the ball machines?
Well, like we said, most lotteries have moved more toward the random number generators. It's just an industry standard. But if we sort of kept that tradition, anyone wants to come to the lottery, we have a tribute to those balls in our chandelier. If they're a winner to the Kentucky Lottery, they can come in, they can see those. But most lotteries have moved to the RNGs, and that's the standard that we use here. Like I said, in our 2 draws each day, 365 days a year.
Well, we certainly appreciate the support and you allowing us to use the random number generator for the purpose of this process. As I mentioned earlier, a number of states have moved in this direction and are beginning to hold licensed lotteries for their medical cannabis businesses or their cannabis businesses generally. And we noticed from the beginning that this was a best practice throughout all of the states. And we had a directive from the General Assembly and the law to look at those best practices. And that's certainly something that we've looked at as we've set up this program writ large. Again, we appreciate the Lottery Corporation's assistance with this process, which I believe is about wrapped up. Wanted to touch on a couple pieces with respect to card holders before we jump. So medical cannabis card holders, again, can begin applying for their medical cannabis card January 1st of this coming year. They will need a written certification. That written certification is good for 60 days. Folks can go to our website and see exactly the steps that are required. They can also see what the 30-day supply limit is and what physicians can do with respect to writing certifications. So physicians in this program will be able to write certifications for the amount of medical cannabis that a person needs, much like a prescription medication. Those folks will be able to set the different types of medical cannabis that a patient could ultimately get. So, for example, if your physician recommends that you have a tincture or an ointment or some sort of edible product, then that's what you get, and you don't get the other product types. So really important safeguards in our program. Again, we want to make sure that this is safe, that it's driven by healthcare and healthcare decisions, and that's certainly what's going to happen with respect to the written certifications, all of which are tracked, again, through our system. An important piece to note on the medical cannabis, all the cannabis that will flow through the medical cannabis program in Kentucky and the businesses that we've licensed here today will be tracked and traced. So we will actually be able to see what medical cannabis anyone has purchased, from where, when, and how much, and be able to trace it all the way back to the plant or set of plants that it was actually manufactured from. So really important safeguards that we've developed in this program, and something we're really looking forward to. And with that, I think we have the results file, and at this time, we will go and read those results.
Once again, thank you to the Kentucky Lottery Corporation. Thank you to the Office of Medical Cannabis. As you can see, this drawing was fair, secure, state-of-the-art, and fully transparent, ensuring that everyone had eyes on each and every part. We wanted to make sure we did it this way because we know that there is a lot, if not an overwhelming interest in being a part of this program as it starts and wanting to provide the fairest and most defensible process. With that, I'm going to read those selected. I'll read out that initial number, their application number, the name, and the county in which they've said they will do business. So we will start for the processors. The following were selected. Lottery number 142, their applicant 4177, Bejal, Kentucky LLC in Boyd County. The second, lottery number 187, application number 3678, AJ Alchemy Labs LLC in Barron County. The third selected, lottery number 202, application number 3538, Jill's Dispensary LLC in Christian County. Number 4, lottery number 92, application number 4782, Hilltop Healing Invesco LLC in Warren County. The fifth, lottery number 52, application number 5006, Limestone Processing LLC, that is in Fayette County. Next, lottery number 242, application number 2094, LMMKY LLC in Warren County. The next one is lottery number 214, applicant 3415, One Leaf Technologies LLC, that is in Bullitt County. The next is lottery number 227, applicant 2703, Ice House Processing LLC in Fulton County. The ninth, lottery number 12, applicant 6021, 1248 KYP LLC in Jefferson County. And the last, number 33, is the lottery number, applicant 5613, Caldem, that's KALDEM Holdings in Muhlenberg County. So those are the 10 selected processors. From that, we will move on to the cultivator tier 1. Again, there are 10. First was lottery number 5. Their application number was 6012, L&O Legacies in Boyd County. The second, lottery number 38, applicant 4619, Synapse Remedies LLC in Jefferson County. The third, lottery number 49, applicant 4428, CW Bluegrass LLC, that's in Davis County. Lottery number 451, applicant 4370, Pop Cultivation LLC in Bracken County. Lottery number 112, applicant 3338, Arizona Bay Investments LLC in Lincoln County. I just remind everyone that they have to do business in Kentucky. That would be in Lincoln County. Next is lottery number 123, applicant 2501, Wong Investment LLC in Christian County. The next one, also in Christian County, lottery number 125, applicant 2483, Joseph Surrock, again in Christian County. The eighth is lottery number 135, applicant 1972, Elevated Essence LLC in Bullitt County. Next one is lottery number 141, applicant 1734, Slaughter Branch LLC, that is in Hopkins County. And the last cultivator tier 1 is 164, applicant number 1130. Is that a G? Going? Yeah. Going Blue, I should have gotten that, LLC, and that is in Fayette County. All right, next is cultivator tier 2. Remember, there are 4 of these. The first one was lottery number 7, applicant 5981, NG Health LLC in Fayette County. The second is lottery number 54, applicant number 5021, Armory Kentucky LLC, that is in Estill County. The third, lottery number 135, applicant 1827, is JMOKY LLC in Warren County. And the fourth and final cultivator tier 2, lottery number 164, applicant 1389, Canopy Capital LLC, that is in Grant County. And the final selectees of the day are cultivator tier 3. Remember, this is the largest group of cultivators. There are only 2 of them at this time with this size of a program. The first winner was lottery number 45, applicant 5136, Natural State Greengrass Canico LLC in Warren County. And then the second one, lottery number 91, applicant 3429, KYS KAPP LLC in Barron County. So congratulations to all of the selectees. For those interested in future licensing lotteries, our lottery for the 11 dispensary regions is going to be announced at Thursday's Team Kentucky update, where we will announce the select date that gives the Office of Medical Cannabis enough time to get home after today, to work through much of tomorrow. We want to set that date as early as possible. So by the end of tomorrow, we will have a good idea that we can announce at Thursday's Team Kentucky update. I want to thank all of the applicants, and this is only the first step. There's a number of different steps they'll have to go through with the Office of Medical Cannabis. There'll be inspections. Again, making sure we do this right. We only get to set up the medical cannabis program once. And the number one thing that we're focused on is doing it safely and doing it correctly, especially in the first months that it's going to be in operation. We hope you'll continue your interest, and please follow along at our website, kymedcan.ky.gov, for future opportunities to be a part of this program. Remember, if the General Assembly will add extra conditions and or the groups that are identified under law that can, we will be able to expand this program in the future, which would allow more businesses to apply in the future. Lastly, I want to tell those Kentuckians that have really needed this relief, that help is on the way, that I know right now they're able to get some relief by going to other states and not facing prosecution. But there is a new day coming in Kentucky on January 1st, or as soon after it, as all of the dispensaries and other parts of the business get up and running, where you're going to be able to get safe medical cannabis to help you with your conditions. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sam, who has a few more words for those that were selected in the process, but excited about how far we've come. Just a final plug, if I can. It took a lot of people from all different types of political parties to make this happen. We made sure we sent a statement saying medical cannabis and the ability to secure the medication you need is not partisan in Kentucky. I want to specifically thank Senator Steve West, who we don't always agree on everything, and in fact have had some public arguments on other things, but he's been a champion on this. And if we're going to disagree with each other at times, we've got to give credit to people who've helped make things happen when they step up and do those right things. All right, Sam.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Governor. Just have a few words for our selectees that you just announced. You all, if you have been selected in the license lottery today, you will be receiving an email in the next 24 hours confirming that you have been approved to receive a medical cannabis license in the Commonwealth of Kentucky for the category for which you were selected. You will be prompted to submit your licensing fee prior to receiving your license. If you fail to submit your licensing fee within 15 days, you will forfeit the ability to receive a license per Kentucky law and administrative regulations. So please submit that fee. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor to answer any questions you all may have. You got to stay up here.
All right, we'll do it old school style and open it up to questions. Yes, Mr. Madden.
You made a point of saying that these are going to be Kentucky businesses.
Yes.
What about the people behind the businesses, the business owners? How many of these licenses actually went to Kentucky?
We'd have to look at that since the selections were just made. My guess is that it's a mix of people who have experience in the industry and those new that are bringing in other folks. But the way this is set up is they have to grow here, they have to process here, they have to dispense here. So all the employees for the Kentucky-based operations will be here. You're going to see some economic development through this. You're going to see new businesses. You're going to see new employees. And so there are certain challenges to trying to set up a program that would only allow Kentucky-based businesses, a dormant commerce clause, and some other constitutional challenges that are there. But what we believe is we've set it up in a way that will withstand challenge and will make sure the jobs and the economic impact are here in Kentucky.
Governor, you said about the same challenge. I know lotteries have been used in other states. Some lawsuits have happened, I believe in Missouri. Is there any concern that could happen here?
Well, certainly when you have this much interest and there's only a certain number of those that are awarded, you may see challenges, and that's something that we can't stop, because if people want to file, they can file. But what we believe is that this system will help us move through that process the fastest, that it was the fairest, that things we have seen in challenges in other states won't apply here based on the way that it's been done. Everyone who qualified, everyone who was able to meet the thresholds required under law got a chance through a fair lottery where their application could have been drawn if it wasn't.
Of course, you'd want to avoid that to not lose time.
But all we can do is run the best, most fair system that we're ready to defend if anybody files. I found a long time ago, you can't stop filing. You can't stop people from filing. You can just have the best system to be able to put it in front of the court and get it dismissed as quickly as you can.
You had said in the past that you would hope that there would be some products on the market starting January 1st. Do you still believe that's going to happen?
So there is a possibility, given that people can bring in some product under certain requirements that have been set up. But we do have all the inspections that will come with the dispensaries. And so I think it will be a challenge on January 1st, but we're moving as fast as we can. I think it will come quickly. I think you'll see a big ramp up, especially at the beginning of the year, but people will know where those dispensaries are going to be. The agreements with the cultivators will be worked through. We'll know the whole process that it's moving through. So I think that the entire system will get set up in a more rapid fashion than you see in other states. But whether there's product day one in every one of these dispensaries, I do think that's going to be a challenge. That's why I'm going to leave the executive order in place until those are up and running. And at that point, I will rescind it.
Does the office or your administration intend to release the full list of the applicants now that the lottery is completed?
I would think under open records law that becomes a releasable list now that the process is complete or when it finalizes.
Is it not
Okay.
finalized yet? Because I did put in an ORR and it said that it's a working document, that it's not available.
Okay.
Is that actually the case?
So understand your question to be that you submitted an open records request for a document for the full list. The full list also contains dispensaries. Dispensaries, we've not held their licensed lottery as of yet. And some of those folks are currently receiving their applications back for returns for correction. So they'll have an opportunity to look at those, make some changes, and submit those back to us. In some instances, we've noticed where an applicant, perhaps in haste, selected the wrong city in the right county. And so we sent that back to them, allowed them the opportunity to correct that. That document will remain preliminary until such time as all of those resubmittals are in and the document is complete, and then we can provide that to you. In the meantime, we can certainly provide the list of all of the cultivator and processor applicants that we've had the license lottery for today, and certainly the list of folks that were included in the license lottery and those that were not.
I did receive a partial list.
Okay.
Certainly.
700, but there's.
Well, but it's so anything that's submitted now the drawing's been done. As to cultivators and processors where the lottery's complete, we'll get you anything that's available under open records.
Can you speak about the significance of this first lottery drawing, how it really gets the process, the ball rolling in a sense, for having people purchase that marijuana?
Medical cannabis is happening. I mean, today we've learned the identity and the locations of those who will grow safe medical cannabis and those who will process safe medical cannabis. And we have already announced some labs that are going to test it. So what people ought to see is that this is a real, legitimate, regulated set of medicine that is going to be there, that can be trusted in terms of its quality, that you're going to have a healthcare professional that you're going to be talking to about it, that we are really doing this right in a way that is both legitimate and regulated and ought to give the trust to those who really need this relief, that they know what they're getting. But it's absolutely happening. The only reason that we haven't had the dispensary drawing yet is that we got so many applications, especially right at the end. And again, our number one focus is to do it right, to do it fairly, to do it with the same transparency that we had today. We set up a system where people would get a chance to cure their applications. And so when you think about the number of dispensary applications that came in, just doing that process, sticking to exactly what we said we would do, has just elongated it a little bit. But I think we're getting close. Thursday we'll announce that date, and then if you want, we'll all be back here to learn the identity of those first sets of dispensaries.
How big of an economic impact do you think this could be for Kentucky? And then how often would the license have to be renewed? 6 months once it's done? Is it every year? Or?
So I'll answer part of the first part and then let Sam. I think it's going to be a significant economic impact, but remember the scale is much smaller than some medical programs in other states that have more conditions. And it's also certainly smaller than states that may have recreational. So I just think right now the best way to look at this is more of healthcare. Knowing that this is medical cannabis can help people, especially with really serious conditions, and that we are currently trying to right size it towards those with the conditions that would be interested. So I think it's one that will only grow over time, but in the very least, like some other things we have passed through, it means that people will be buying product that is grown here, that is processed here, that is tested here, that would otherwise be in other states.
I believe the second question was related to renewals for licensees. So once a licensee receives their license, a year from that date, they'll be required to renew their license. They'll be notified some days, many days, about 60, in advance of their renewal requirement. They'll be prompted to then renew their license, and they'll be required to pay a renewal fee.
You can take one more.
About those fees, you mentioned that they have a licensing fee to pay for the people who got their licenses today. How much are we talking about?
So those fees, I don't have them off the top of my head. Those fees are available on our website, kymedcan.ky.gov. What you'll see, if you look at other states, we're certainly given the task of looking at best practices in other states. Our licensing fees and our application fees are in line with other comparable states throughout the United States.
Robert, do you have a message for voters for next week? Because they can vote the opting in and opting out. So some of these folks that won a license might have to move. But is there a message you want to?
Well, the message I'd send to these communities is talk to a veteran suffering from PTSD that may be taking 20 different medications that could just be taking one, and to get the relief that they not only need, but that they deserve after the service they provided to the country. Talk to a cancer patient struggling with the pain and what other medications they may be given have side effects, and listen to them talk about how this improves their quality of life, and then think about personal freedom. And if this is a choice that somebody has made they want to pursue, and a medical professional tells them that it will help them and they can get it through a regulated entity where we know it's safe, we know what it is, and we can keep the jobs and the dollars right here in Kentucky, then we should do that. Just because you might not choose to go down that route, and I don't know if I'd choose to go down that route, doesn't mean I don't think it needs to be available to somebody else. I still remember the gentleman who served in our armed forces who came to the Team Kentucky update with his service dog, and he told me his story. And while I was supportive after that, I knew he deserved this option. I knew I'd do anything I could to get him the relief that he needed, because the difference in his life before and after is just so remarkable and so positive for him. I just want everybody that again has one of these conditions, has seen a medical professional, to have that opportunity to do it safely. One last thank you to the Kentucky. Yeah, Karen.
Governor, have you had any more talk with lawmakers about expanding the list of cultivators?
Yes, we continue to talk to lawmakers about expanding the list of conditions, continue to talk to the group at UK about doing that. I think there's been some nervousness on their part, but they're listed under law as being the group that does it. If they don't want to do it, let's switch the group that does it under law. But there are certainly some conditions that are not included that absolutely should be included, that are included in other states. I could understand if the legislature doesn't want to name them each year, but let's at least get a system in place that works through the medical professional community, because we have some right now that are equivalent with others that are on it, and wanting people not to have to suffer And when we add, again, we can be back here expanding the business here in Kentucky. Thank you again to the Kentucky Lottery Corporation for bringing us the security and the transparency today. We'll be back with the dispensary lottery, but a big step forward in providing medical cannabis to the people of Kentucky. Thank you. All right. I got me headed this way then.
Billionaires like Elon Musk are lining up behind Donald Trump.
Take over, Elijah!
Why? Because his tax plan will make them rich as hell. Kamala Harris wants to cut taxes for working and middle-class Americans, not billionaires and large corporations.
The new $7 Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell with the beefy 5-layer burrito, Doritos Locos Taco, and the Chicken Chalupa Supreme. The only thing not Lux about it is the price. The new $7 Lux Cravings box, only at Taco Bell.
It's Friday, Saturday, what? Hello everyone, what's up? How is it going? Welcome to a new live stream, and today we're gonna continue the build that we started previous week, and we're working at the Signal clone. So if you missed it, I'm gonna introduce to you what we managed to build so far, and in this video, we're gonna work on some bonus features, on some features that we have never touched, and a lot of you have asked me to cover. So what exactly I'm talking about? First of all, I'm talking about emojis, how to send emojis, how to display emojis, how to have this emoji picker for sending messages, then sending images in a messenger application. This is a common feature in most of the applications that have a messaging feature. So I think that it is very important for us to know how to implement this feature, what is involved in this, how to pick an image, how to send it, how to store on the server, how to visualize it on the other end for another user, and so on. And the last advanced features from today's video is sending audio messages. This is as well a very important feature because it involves, again, multiple parts. You need to record the audio, you need to translate it somehow, you need to send it to the server, save it there, and then on the other part of application to download the audio and play it. So in today's video, we're gonna cover all of that. And by the end of this video, you will know how to integrate these features in your application. So if you're new on this channel, hi, my name is Vadim. Welcome here. I'm a full stack developer for over 7 years. I have experience working in startups and as well working in big corporations like Amazon. And more recently, I decided to share all my knowledge and all my experience with you guys here on YouTube. So if you